Welcome to the podcast with Ray and Jay. Hi guys, welcome back to the podcast. It's weekend this time, this time that we're recording.
Yeah. She's been nagging me to say hi, so I'm gonna say hi.
I was just about to say, can you greet everyone? But yes.
I feel like a little child that's being asked to greet.
No man, because I always do the intro and then I ask the question and now it's time to answer and you haven't said hello, so it feels a bit awkward.
No, I don't like to interject when you do the intro. Do the intro and say hello. I'll say hello when you ask me a question.
Okay, well.
But I already said hello.
You have. And we are sitting on the couch once again.
Yeah.
We do not deviate from this theme. But to be honest, the reason why we're on the couch is because James is in the room and he's asleep. we put him to bed not too long ago, so this is a time that we get to think and to chat and to do our podcast, and it is now 1:45 a.m. Believe it or not.
On a Sunday.
I was gonna say it's Saturday, but we actually entered into the new day now. Yeah. And we under dimmed lights. Shark just made me a cup of tea. So yeah, this is us. Welcome to our space. Today we wanted to talk about something a little bit lighter, and it's something we spoke about in the car today while we were at the shops. And
lightly salted.
Not too salty.
Yeah,
just
not
lightly.
too salty.
Okay. So today we're going to be talking about the things that excite us about being South African. So if you've met us, I don't know if it applies to everyone, but I think those who are dear to us will know how passionate we are about this country and the potential that it holds. So we want to talk about the things that excite us about South Africa, and we may mention here and there the things that we can improve on as a country, or things that we can see can be improved if we put our energy towards it as the youth of this country and as a nation. So I won't put a number on it, but do you want to go first? What are the things that excite you about South Africa and being South African?
I have a lot of things that excite me about being South African, and just having my feet grounded on such a beautiful piece of continent in a small corner called South Africa.
The tip of the continent.
Yeah, we're almost falling off.
We like
globe.
like on a paintbrush. We like that point of the paintbrush. You know when you're trying to make like detail and you don't want to get outside the line.
Yeah.
That part of the paintbrush where you're like.
Yeah, in Cape Town, that's what we are. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Have you noticed that when you look at the map, right, and you look at the continent, is it just me, or have you also noticed that the continent in itself has the shape of an elephant?
Oh.
Like an elephant, like a side profile of the elephant.
Now, which part is the
like the ear and the face and then the trunk.
Oh, like almost like it's coming down.
Yeah.
From the nose.
And then when you look at South Africa in the continent, you'll see South Africa is shaped like a rhino.
Oh my goodness. I don't know why you're looking at the map like that, but
I'm an artist, so
yeah.
I noticed these kind of details. So I just thought I would share that with you since we are talking about South Africa.
Is that one of the things that excites you?
Well, it excites me because I've noticed it. I don't know if anyone else have noticed it.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna look at the map differently now.
There's so many things that I'm excited about being a South African. Firstly, I think we have a rich history, and a lot of our history, is still deeply rooted in many of us, and I think we are fortunate enough to still have people alive that can tell us about our history. You know, I mean, our very recent history.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of hurt that came with it, but I think we are a very matured country to handle the conflicts and things that happened in the past the way we are doing. I know we can improve, and we can do much better. But I mean, from where we came to where we are now, I just wanna, applaud our elders,
like give them an ovation.
An ovation, for the effort and the sacrifice that they put in to put us, this generation, in such a good space where we can have the freedoms that we have. Be able to interact with the people that we are, allowed to interact with. Though we have these subtle, hints of the past still in and amongst us, but I think if we put our heads together and we identify these things and we approach it with a positive outlook on how to improve the nation from where we are to a place where we can be even better than what we are now, we'll definitely be able to make waves.
I think on the topic of the country having a rich history, I think this is also a topic that we speak about a lot, and it's quite possible for us to expand on a lot of the things that we think we can improve on the history. But there's one thing that I just want to say on that topic. We've spoken about this quite recently, racism, this thing of racism. And I think it's something that, even though our history is rich, it has become a plague in our nation, to the point where people of different cultures are so scared to even ask certain questions if they feel like it's going to offend someone. The other day, one of my colleagues was like, I'm so sorry to ask, but is your husband colored? And I'm like, why are you sorry to ask if my husband's colored? It's reality. And it made me think, for me, as someone who comes from Klerksdorp in the northwest, and I'm now in Cape Town, I've got family who used to be like, oh, you're in Cape Town, it's so racist. And I'm like, I've been here 10 years, I've never experienced racism. In fact, I've been alive for almost 30 years, and I've never in my entire 30 years experienced racism. And the reason why, it's because my dad, though he's experienced a lot of hectic things, and his story, at the hands of what one would say, or apartheid, and things were intentionally done to him because of the color of his skin. He never raised us with the word racism. He always just told us that, in life you either get a stupid person or you get a reasonable person. So I never looked at the way someone treated me and thought it's racism. I've always thought, if someone has the audacity to treat me differently just off my skin color without even getting to know me, for me that's ignorance. It's not racism. It's someone being stupid. So I can't say I've experienced racism. I've just experienced people who are ignorant, who don't know how to act. And from my personal perspective, or my personal I guess the thing that I think will really help our country move forward is if we drop this thing of racism,
putting a label on the conflicts that we are faced with.
Because at the root of whatever it's called racism is actually ignorance. People don't understand each other. People don't understand each other's cultures, so they're fearful and they move out of that fear, and that fear is driven by ignorance. So racism for me it doesn't mean anything. If someone treats me a certain way, I don't automatically think it's because I'm black, even if it might be because they don't understand me because of my skin color. I've never felt like that's the thing, because for me, that's not a reasonable way to live.
For me, I just think racism it's an empty gun, right? That is being pointed at us. There's no ammunition, and we can overpower it if we just put our minds to it. Because why do you feel, or why do you allow your appearance or the person you are to like to feel less because of someone's approach or someone's idea of you.
Yeah.
And then you I mean, the person that's now feeling that they've been treated a certain way because of their skin color, why do you like bring it down to your skin? The reason why they are treating me like this is because of my skin color. No, the reason why they are treating you like that is because there's a problem with them.
Exactly.
And it's not your skin color.
Yeah.
Your skin color is beautiful.
Yeah.
You are beautiful.
Exactly.
There's something wrong with that person and they need to change that thing. So until we are able to educate one another in such a way, we'll be stuck.
Yeah.
And I don't think we, as the generation that we are, and those who have heard the stories of our parents and our grandparents, want to fall back into something like that, or maybe even worse.
Exactly.
Because I don't think our ancestors or those who have suffered will think that we will be doing or doing justice
Yeah.
if we go back.
Exactly.
So let us honor their fight and let us celebrate their victory, even though we haven't yet achieved the fullness of their mission.
Yeah.
But let us be the generation that carries the baton.
Yeah.
And finish together as one. Because I think what is beautiful about this question is like, it makes me think about what are the things that makes me proud to be a South African.
Yeah.
It's something that we haven't heard in a long time. Like, I remember when I was still in school and Nelson Mandela was the president.
I was literally on that same wavelength. Okay, yeah, I'm listening.
That was when we were talking about being proud of being South African.
Yeah.
Today, many decades later, thinking of that concept I haven't heard people mention being proud. I've seen the logo,
proudly South African,
but I don't think we are. And there's reason for that. But how do we get back
to that?
To being proud and not it just being a tagline or a logo
or something where we need a Zakumi to bring us together.
I mean, now we are at the brink of winning another World Cup, right? And though we are divided, in our support, because there's a lot of New Zealand supporters that is hiding out
there's
here.
There's no space for those people on our
in
podcast.
South Africa.
Everyone's welcome to the podcast.
Anyway, but I think New Zealand supporters are just
angry.
They are former South African rugby supporters.
Yeah.
But they couldn't persevere, or they had little patience, to wait for our next victory. So they turned, and now they are too afraid to turn back. To throw away the black.
If there are any New Zealand supporters listening to this podcast who are South Africans, please can you let us know what motivated you?
And please.
And are you wanting to come back to support the Springboks, or what's going on?
But besides that,
I'm joking.
The country is asking you to wear your green and gold.
And you don't want to.
If you have a green ID book, please wear your green and gold on a Friday.
Even if you support the All Blacks.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, this victory is gonna boost the nation's morale again.
That's true.
So
I wasn't a rugby supporter until I married you, because of you're very passionate about rugby, and we watched the documentary of the Springboks, and
that was amazing.
After that, I just felt this is the sport that can bring the nation together.
Well, it had,
but it can do so even more.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at us. We, I think as a nation we are excited, and people that I know don't watch rugby is watching rugby, and they are following the action, and
like you say, what is it? Rugby is a hooligan sport played by gentlemen.
Oh,
I agree. I've seen that.
It's a beautiful sport, and I think that's one of the things also that makes me, that excites me of being a South African.
Yeah.
The fact that we are an African country, but when we compete on a world level,
top class
level.
Yeah.
You know, I can't say this about our soccer. I would like to say this about our soccer.
Yeah.
And I'm praying for it, that we will one day get there.
Yeah.
But I think it's also a thing of nation spirit. I think if we can back the boys, properly.
Yeah.
But then
they must back themselves first. It must start within the clubs, and then, you know what I mean? Like, I think, not to hijack your point, but I think, like, when I watched the documentary on the rugby team, and Erasmus Rassie as the coach, who had that kind of fire where he would even dispel, like, he would put away, like, all the tension in the team. He was like, okay, listen guys, there's no time for all these nonsense things if you're gonna be world champions. And, like, we were watching the rugby earlier today, but it wasn't South Africa playing. But I just thought to myself, like, to come together in that way as a team. Like, I was thinking of the Springboks and the way they play and the way they represented themselves in that documentary. I really felt like there was a brotherhood.
Yeah,
definitely. I really felt like, and I'm not in the team, I've never been at a live game, but you got that sense of, like, brotherhood amongst them. And they're so different. They come from different backgrounds. And they even went into their hometowns and things like that. They come from very different places. They've had very different experiences. But when they're on the field, they are the same.
Yeah.
And I think if the nation can realize that we are the same.
Yeah.
We are all, and this thing of, I want to speak about what makes us proud, but I'm speaking about the things that we can improve on more than
don't hold back, honey.
Okay.
Like, go at it.
This thing of boxing ourselves as South Africans, say black, white, colored. I get so angry when I'm filling out a form and it asks me if I'm African, and then the other option is colored, white, and I'm like, are there no white Africans?
Yeah.
I mean, I've got colleagues and they're white. They're African. They were born in Africa.
Yeah.
All they know is the African soil.
Yeah.
You know, whether they speak Afrikaans or English, these people are African. And so I get offended to say, why must I say African, and my husband, who is a mix of Aborigine and German and French and Khoi, can't say he's African?
Yeah, it's
That's so weird. And that's the thing that continually divides a nation that, like, has so much potential to unite, actually.
Yeah, it's the undercurrent conflicts that we subscribe to unknowingly.
Yeah.
And we hold dear to it because it's a standard that was laid upon us that we have to adhere to, but we don't necessarily agree with it. I want to be called a South African.
Me too.
I don't want to be called a colored.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm denying the fact that I have this kind of blood, but at the end of the day, all our blood is red, and we eat from the same soil. We move under the same sun.
Exactly.
So why can't we be proud of that?
Exactly.
Why are we promoting these divisions, on our day-to-day? And we've spoken about this many times before, and I think it is a strategy to weaken us, But if we can look past these things, I mean, I've seen on the socials, right? I've seen, I'm gonna say guys from the Eastern Cape or guys from Gauteng, black guys, white guys. They come together, they speak the same language, they can hang.
Exactly.
And I think it's when they separate, or when we separate and we go back to our homes, it's then when we have to be reminded of, our given reality. But is that really our reality? Because when I hang out with my black friends, I don't see them as my black friends. I see them as my homies.
Exactly.
But because of their skin color, I have to now put them in that box. But it's a box that we were put in, you know, and that from a past that has scarred us.
Yeah.
Why don't we put that behind us? You know, and I don't want to sound political and all these kind of things, but these are the things, these are the wounds that we put salt in ourselves.
That's true.
And these are the wounds that will never heal, because when we fill in these forms, you know, there's an option
Yeah.
of saying African.
Yeah.
Why don't we all say African? That's
Exactly.
not lying.
Yeah, we are all African. That's the thing.
But
now we almost like forced in our thoughts to be like, oh, but actually I'm more this than that. I'm more Indian than African. But it's like, you're an African Indian. I don't know how to put it.
But the thing is, you know, it takes away the essence. It takes away from our essence.
Yeah.
Right? We as the human species, right?
Yes.
We were a species that moved from one place to another, right? Moved from
Like
one
we
place
were
to another.
migration-
We
not
moved
migration, but-
to where there was food and water,
Yeah.
right? So before these borders, we had no identity that was linking us to the land we were roaming on. We were free.
That's true.
And it's only when these things started happening that we are now boxed in.
The conquering of land.
The conquering of land. Now we are boxed in, and we have to assign to a specific box. Otherwise, we can't. We are UFOs.
Unidentified flying object. But I know what you mean. Like we this concept of borders is basically about benefits. If you don't belong to a specific border, then who's gonna take care of your health? Who's responsible for, you know, the roads that, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but then if I'm in the border of South Africa,
yeah.
I'm a South African.
But now that's the thing that we need to learn as a nation.
And
I mean,
that's the thing that will unite us.
you know, when I went to Greece,
If
I
we
was
want
so
to really.
Yeah. When I went to Greece, I was so fascinated that, like, that's the thing I loved about. I can't say I've been to other parts of Europe, but when I was in Greece, I loved how united the people were by their language, you know, or the fact that they were Greeks, you know.
Yeah.
It wasn't a thing of you are one, like you spoke the language, you are Grecian, you know,
Yeah.
and there's no two ways about it. There's no, I don't know, like there's no, I don't know how to put it. Like you said, we in the borders of South Africa. We were all born from the soil. Why can't we all just be South African? Why
Yeah.
are we still trying to, like, say, oh no, I'm not, I'm European or I'm Scottish or whatever. Yes, you're from your bloodline. That's where you come from, you know.
But where were you born?
But where were you born? You as a person.
From what soil were you nurtured?
Exactly.
You know? And I think that is where we have to find our identity from.
Yeah.
And I mean, we are dictated by many things. Or our theory is broken by many things. I mean, you get there's many cases where people, they have kids. Say
Yeah.
for instance, it's a white couple. We've seen this. They have kids. Maybe they have twins.
Okay.
The one girl is black and the other girl is white.
Yeah.
So what is the black girl? But it's from a black and from a white couple. Her parents are both white, but she's darker than her sister.
Yeah.
So because of her skin color, she is boxed as being black.
Even though her experience is not different to her sister. They've
Yeah.
got the same experience, they've got the same ideology, they've got the same upbringing, same parents.
And now that child has to go through the world, or through her life in this world, feeling some kind of way, outcasted, you know, though her parents don't treat her differently, but the world
has
treats her
imposed
in
a
that way.
different reality on her.
And then, then we also, I want to speak on this topic. Then we have albinism, right? Where the child is born with a lack of pigment, right? But because that child grew up in a household that speaks a specific language, that child's not white.
Exactly.
That child is whatever tradition she was raised in.
Exactly.
And for me, it's another sign of God showing us we are moving in ignorance with this boxing people into a box of color. No, that's not how it's supposed to be. We are the traditions that we have assigned to ourselves, or that we have been raised in.
And you're actually a classic example of this, because your forefathers, I don't know how many grades it is, but from your mother's side, there's an Aborigine woman, very dark skinned, who married a German man, like fair skinned. And the first in your lineage now, on your mom's side, that was like the first generation, I'm going to put it in inverted commas, colored person.
Yeah.
But that's like two rich histories that came together and made another person.
Yeah.
So now what is that person that was born on South African soil? They were South African, but now it's this thing again, like you and your sister are fair skinned, whereas your other two brothers are dark skinned, but it's the same family.
Yeah.
So like even your sister says, like, people think I'm a white woman, because she's so light.
Yeah.
But now that's the thing, like, how is it that, like, we come up with these standards, and then it's almost like we confuse ourselves by those standards, because we are not the people who give skin color. God gives skin color.
Yeah, and skin color comes from the environment that we were raised in, or where our forefathers came from.
Exactly.
And it's again about moving and trying to survive.
Exactly.
That's why you get in Central Africa, you get those who are darker skinned, because the sun has a greater ray on that part of the land.
Yeah.
So people, because of the environment, their skins had to adapt to the climate so that they can survive and not die out. And that's what our skin does. That's what our biggest organ do, like, to protect us. And the higher you go up on the map, the lighter the people become, because it's colder climate.
Exactly.
So they have to, just like you don't get, like, you get polar bears in the colder climates.
Yeah.
You don't get a brown bear in the colder climate, because it's how nature protects the vessel to survive in those environments. And
so it's actually the ignorance of God and how He created us that makes us...
Not the ignorance of God, but the ignorance of man.
Towards God.
But
that's what I mean. No, yeah, you're right. Sorry, I didn't mean the ignorance of... I mean the ignorance of the understanding or the knowledge of God.
Yeah.
Because if you understand that God created us, and in the way He created us, our bodies have these abilities that we don't actually fully comprehend.
Yeah.
That's actually the problem.
Yeah.
If we understood how our bodies work and how God created us and the effects of this creation, then we wouldn't do something so, like, trivial, like...
Yeah, think about it.
Box each other,
the
like...
people that started this thing, they didn't even think about... They couldn't even come up with the idea of creating a digital phone. So we are we are trapped by the ideologies of people that are not smarter than us. Though we honor them because they came before us and all these kind of things, but the things that they have concluded out of ignorance. They didn't fully know what they were trying to describe or trying to convey or articulate. So we can basically say that we are believing the way the cavemen believed.
Even though there's far more knowledge available than they had at the time.
And we hold dear to these things because we find our identity in these things. But there's more things that I am excited about.
Yeah.
And this is one thing, right?
Yeah.
That I think if we can conquer this thing, we'll be the greatest nation alive.
I agree.
Because we can see it in our sports.
Exactly.
We are very committed. We are, we are like. Do you want to?
Yes, sorry. I just want to interject because I feel like you're heading towards the point that I was gonna make. That excites me. The talent of this country is insane.
Yeah.
It is absolutely insane. We love watching the show Idols, and I don't know who's watching the last final season 19, but Thabo, Nikki, even the people who have been Princess, even the people who've been eliminated, like I wouldn't say prematurely, like Senna, Nevi. These people are insanely talented, and they don't do this as their day job. These are like ordinary South Africans, in school, at work, with incredible talent. And the other day, because of Nikki's performance, I found that girl who sings Inimona. I think her name is Nomfundo, and
she's amazing.
She's impeccable. And when I listen, like today, you bumped up the volume. You were like, oh, you were in that song, and I'm like,
oh my goodness.
Even the person who produced that
James
song
was dancing.
Exactly. Our son has this cute little dance move that he's like just with his arm in the air, and it's like almost like he's doing a Mandela dance with the other arm, and then the other arm is like woo in the air. Anyway, but we've got insane talent, and even Jimmy Nevis, when he dropped his new album, where I think I'm gonna be at home this summer. I know I usually don't, but I wanna. I mean, oh my goodness. But you know what? Like, there's so much room for. We need to support our local artists.
Really?
We need to support our local artists because, we've got such incredible talent, but we are still so fixated on what other nations are doing. Other nations are flourishing. We're now on K-pop out of the pinks and the purples. We were on American hip-hop.
And now we in Asia.
We're in Asia. We're going literally everywhere other than our own land.
So are we, I think we need to turn our focus back.
We
because
need to support
our artists
people.
And the talent in our nation needs our support. Really. And, I want to give a shout out to everyone that's putting in the effort to produce great art.
Thank you so much.
And your craft. Please continue. One day our nation will wake up and realize that there's a lot to be proud of. And
and it's not even limited to the arts. I think of Lelive, Amanda Dupont, who does the skincare. You know how much I love that Dupont moisturizer.
Oh my goodness.
And Olive, the baby
Listen,
brand.
This podcast is not sponsored by these people.
No, they're not
right?
sponsored, but I feel like we need to send a shout out.
Them,
Exactly. Olive, it's a natural, it's like a baby care range. Their wipes and their bum creams and their all-purpose balm. Oh my gosh, I love these products. They're organic, they are safe for use on baby, they smell good, they're durable. Quality products. These things can be exported. That's the kind of quality we produce. And even Saint and Summer, I've never bought anything from Saint and Summer. It's a local shoe brand that's based in KwaZulu-Natal. They're busy rebranding and redoing their website. I mean, there's so much to choose from within our own country.
We need to buy back. We need to buy back. Instead of fussing over taking back the land. No, we must take back our pride.
Exactly.
That's where we have to start.
Exactly.
The land will come by itself.
Exactly.
We need to win back the hearts of the nation by actually participating and supporting. Stop
your
buying
people.
Louis Vuitton, Gucci.
Really?
Those people are being enriched, and there's people dying in Africa.
Yeah.
Because we would rather support people that don't think about us.
Exactly. They don't even have a concept. If you ask
we walk past the brother with the that makes his African print and all these kind of things to go buy a branded shirt just because we want to look like Lil Wayne.
And we are very much willing to part with thousands of rands for an international brand. But our quality is competing on if we really back our producers, our people, you'll find that our stuff is even better, to be honest, than than international producers.
Really, I personally want to challenge you.
Yeah.
You who are listening to this podcast tonight,
Yeah.
or whenever you are listening to it, make yourself proud and support a South African
Exactly.
today.
And you know what? What we'd really appreciate, please take a photo or send a voice note, take a video of you supporting whatever local brand you're supporting. Let us know what you love about it. You know, I can name so many businesses where I'm like, kudos to you, whoever's behind this. Thank you for choosing to persevere. Thank you for, despite the challenges of load shedding and all these things, thank you for not backing down, because this is the kind of thing that inspires me as a South African. When I see other people on their grind, doing something of quality, something they can be proud of, it inspires me, to be honest.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of us now, you know, what is this? Generation X, those of us who are now becoming parents and, you know, that is in the working world, trying to fend for ourselves because we moved out of our parents' houses and stuff like that. We obviously want a nation where we can, you know, have a sense of, you know, peace when we send our kids out to school or wherever, that they will come back and they will have more information that will make you proud.
Yeah.
Better information, better insight of this nation that they are a part of. Instead of them going out or scrolling on an Instagram or a TikTok and wanting to leave the nation with their talent.
Yeah.
No, man, let's stop being like this, you know, I almost want to say this guy with this heavy wallet, you know, just got paid, heavy wallet, but he's so stingy to spend what is in his wallet. Let's stop being like that and really, you know, open up and, you know, participate.
Make it rain.
Make it rain. You know, you can be a hero.
Yeah.
You can be a hero if you just support that local consumer, like I mean that local producer.
Yeah.
You can be a hero.
Yeah.
You know, we are all fending. You know, but only us, the commoners.
Yeah.
We can make this country great.
Exactly.
Let's stop putting the power into the hands of the government, because we are the government, you know, and you know we are quick to complain about the corruption and all these things, but you know the corruption is there because we turn a blind eye when it's happening in front of us.
Exactly.
So we would
and
turn our eyes away from the corruption when it happens, even in our households.
Exactly. I was gonna say, it's not necessarily out there.
Yeah,
in our community,
in our households, in our communities,
in our streets,
in our schools,
in our workplaces. Yeah,
we are the ones that's actually giving
Enabling
that
this
snake,
kind of,
that snake power to rule over us in a level, the government level. So let's cut the snake's head off in the house already, so that it doesn't have time to roam anywhere.
Exactly.
And that's how we will conquer this thing. We, like next year's elections, educate yourself.
Yeah.
You know, be inspired to raise your voice and vote.
Yeah.
And let's not be people that vote because our grandmother voted for this party, I have to vote for this party. Let's not be loyal to a history, but
that's not serving you
that's
today.
not serving you today
Or your future.
And I don't want, like I said, I don't want to sound political, but what I'm saying is, let's make moves to make ourselves proud again. Because it's one thing, right? I scrolled today on TikTok and I found this channel of this guy who has videos of shootings in Manenberg, and he's promoting all these things, right? These negative things, and everyone is liking it and all these things, and it's uneducated people that's talking on the video, and this guy's uneducated because he's promoting this fear. And yeah, okay, these things are happening, but what are we doing? He's recording it and he's applauding these things. Let's not be people that promote the negative things in our nation.
Exactly.
Let's rather shine a light on the good that's happening. There's many NPOs, you know, that's doing good things.
Exactly.
Why don't we record them? Why don't we have interviews with them? I mean, these people they are job workers.
Yeah.
And they felt the need to make a difference within their communities.
Exactly.
Why don't we promote them?
Yeah.
Why don't we uplift them?
Exactly.
Instead of uplifting people that has been put in a space where they wish it could be different, but because it's not, they have to fight their way out of it.
Yeah.
Let's not promote such negative things, because I don't want my son to be fearful of its nation and feel the need to leave, because there's other monsters out there.
Exactly.
Every country has its own evils.
Yeah.
So instead of running to a different country and think that you'll be free from the evil that's in yours, fix the evil in your country so that you can be proud again.
I want to say amen to that.
Yeah, I mean, let's promote the good things.
Exactly. So I hope that this episode was, stirred up a little bit of excitement and a bit of patriotism in you. We can go on for days on this topic, so we're going to cut it off over here. This episode's a lot longer than usual, but you know what? Please engage with us. We love talking about our nation. We love talking about how we can help, how we can get behind, taking this country forward. So if you enjoyed this podcast, please let us know. Give us a comment. Call us if you have our number, and we'll also be linking our Instagram page soon so that you guys can engage with us on that platform as well. But my tea's already cold now. I'm gonna go put it in the microwave before we go sleep. It's now 1:23 a.m. but it's been lovely chatting to you guys in this way.
Yeah, it's been really lovely, and please have a wonderful evening or day,
whatever time you're listening to this.
May your Sunday be blessed
and your everyday be blessed.
Put that green and gold on today and support the boys.
Poker.
Let's bring those chickens down.
The chickens.
Yeah, the friends.
Oh, of course.
Let's bring them down and let's show each other how proud we are.
Exactly.
If you are a All Black supporter, kudos to you, right? But today, if you are South African, please support the boys.
There we go.
Support the boys, because they're gonna bring it back. Let's be proud and let's do it.
Okay. See you guys.
Thank you. Good night.
Ciao for now.